Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan. I'm the Dungeon Master of this 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons show! And today, we have unicorn ice cream.
It tastes like rainbows.
Does taste like
Tastes like unicorns.
Charlie. Oh wait.
We're running late, so we're gonna eat our ice cream as we start. Nick, do you want to go ahead and start some player introductions, and then I'll do announcements and a recap, and we'll get into it?
I'm Nick. I play Citation Hammerlock, the human vengeance paladin.
I'm Kay. I play Harmony, who is the tiefling wild magic sorcerer.
I'm Zach. I play Zant, who is a human fighter ranger.
I'm Melissa. I play Mara, who is a awesome human rogue pirate.
This episode is brought to you by Mara, because Mara created the situation that we're going to land in.
Oh no. What?
Yeah.
So, a couple announcements and then the recap. We premiere our episodes on YouTube every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items as well as a custom wild magic table, so be aware of that as you're watching. Our music comes from BattleBards, TabletopAudio, and Incompetech. And the character portraits, which you'll see in the top right corner of the screen on the stat cards, were drawn by an artist named Carrie Peach, who goes by @CarrieDraws on Twitter. Other than that, you can check the video description for links and info to everything I just mentioned and more. And then you can follow us on Twitter @AntiheroesAnon for even more great content. Other than that, we just hope you enjoy the show, share with your friends, and come back for more. So, recap. What are you crying about?
I'm so nervous.
This problem isn't your fault for once.
For once.
It's mine, apparently.
Mother Midnight,
It's
night
all
hag
about
that the
rag.
party had had run-ins with before, has been making her presence known once more.
It's all the rag.
To
That
counteract
was a walk.
Mother Midnight's actions, the party put together a plan to reach her in her lair on Malbold, the 6th layer of the Nine Hells. Aboard their ship, the Sea Devil's Curse, they found the crew of Mara's grandfather's ship, the Bon Natali, and found out that they were bound to an infernal contract. The party's agenda in the Nine Hells just seems to continue to grow longer and longer as they make their final preparations. And to that end, they have returned to Sigil. I almost said Sigil. Then I'd be a clueless. They must return to the city of Sigil in the center of the multiverse and deal with the pesky Bureau of Interplanar Risk Analysis for what might be the last time. So we will pick up the scene exactly as we left it.
It's a Sigil-centric scene.
Yes. The group of you had tumbled one by one through the portal that resides in the cupboards of the kitchen of the Drowning Kiss, your sailing vessel. And you found yourself tumbling down maybe 10-15 feet into darkness and maybe a foot or so of murky, muddy water. As you pull yourselves up from the filthy water that you are standing in, you find yourselves surrounded by blinding lights. Basically a circle of lights shining directly at you and preventing you from seeing anything in the darkness beyond them. As all of this played out, and you sort of become aware of your surroundings, you heard a voice boom out from somewhere beyond the ring of lights that surrounds you, at something like a 10-foot radius. And the voice just said, "Well, I was wondering when the group of you would be arriving. In fact, I had begun to give up hope that we had the location right. Well, my name's Barbara Smith, and I'm with the Bureau of Interplanar Risk Analysis, Asset Recovery Division. You have something we want." And that is where we left off.
Oh boy.
What would the group of you like to do?
Sorry, wrong door.
Can I get my answer to the question that I asked at the end of the last episode?
Remind me what it was.
Do I know if it's possible to teleport within Sigil? Because I know you can't get into Sigil except through a door, and you can't leave except through a door, but what about within Sigil?
I would say roll me 2 Arcana checks.
Okay.
One with intelligence, one with charisma. And depending on your results for that, I'll tell you what you know.
Oh boy.
While she's looking that up, I have a question. Has anyone ever told Thaddeus what it is that I guess that you stole anything, and if so, what it is you stole?
I
No.
remember, well, they were looking at it when we got back to Seal's house.
But we hid.
I was there.
You were there, but he wasn't there.
You really?
I remember-
Really?
I feel like, didn't I say, oh, don't tell Thaddeus? Wasn't
Yeah,
that
that
the
happens a lot.
I don't know.
I do think that Thaddeus was there for the
I think
identifier.
he was there.
Do you have
But
Pinky
do you know
with
where
me?
we got it from?
I don't
Do you
think
have
that I
Pinky
do.
with me?
Yes, Pinky's
So
here.
I don't think I
Okay.
know what they're talking about.
Yeah, you don't think.
Okay,
So,
Arcana
I'm going-
with charisma. The new tower. That's terrible.
And how big is that handkerchief thing?
Oh, the
No washcloth.
the thing that you
or-
stole. When folded up, it's rather small. You can fit it in like the palm of your hand. It's like
Okay.
the size of a handkerchief. But when you unfold it, it's big enough that it creates a portal that someone could step through.
So my charisma arcana check is abysmal.
Okay.
It is math 13.
All right. So with that, all you know is like something about the innate magic within you feels weird right now as you've tumbled into this location.
Okay.
But that's all you know with that.
And then my arcana with intelligence is 23.
23. You would recall that when you were fighting with the Kraken, I believe it was Thaddeus, someone in your party cast a like short range teleportation spell, like Misty Step or Thunder Step, one of the two. And it seemed to work fine. And based on what you learned from Seal, it would stand to reason that teleportation spells would work within the city. However, I think you also may have, based on Seal's explanation, gleaned that it is frowned upon. So if you were caught teleporting around by perhaps the Harmonians or the Hardheads, as you've heard them called, they might not like you for that, but nothing about the magic of this place would prevent you from doing it.
But my magic feels weird.
Yeah,
Does
it's just
everyone's
like a little
magic
strange,
feel
like
weird?
a little disrupted.
Does everyone's magic feel weird?
You could roll me a Wisdom Arcana check if you want, since you've got some magic. That is, you could do a Charisma Arcana check.
Okay.
Yeah, I do not
I
know.
would say the two of you have disadvantage though because you don't have
I
that
rolled a
like,
2,
innate
so-
connection like
Yeah.
Harmony does.
Well, I rolled dismally.
So I'm gonna cast Good Berries and see what happens.
Okay.
I got a 4.
Mara was going to do something, so we'll do that
Sure.
and then we'll come back to you.
So if I'm going to call Pinky up into my pocket, I'm going to slip the scrap of paper to.
Well, Pinky isn't a single rat anymore.
I know, but he's lead, right?
But like all the rats would have tumbled together through the portal and like formed up into this massive rat shape. But if
Okay.
you want to telepathically call him, he can like scramble down the pile and climb up into your pocket.
Okay. And then I'm going to telepathically give him instructions and hand him the square of the magic, whatever it's called.
Handkerchief or whatever it is.
Yeah, and tell him to take it away until I call him back.
Okay. Yeah, Pinky, the thing that you hear back telepathically after you get the command is, okay, yeah, sure, I can do that. And then I guess, do you have Pinky's step block?
Yes.
Can you use it to make a stealth check? If there's no stealth listed, then it's just a dexterity check.
Yeah, it would have to be Dex. So that'd be 21, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need a roll stealth check.
You see Pinky disappear out from beyond the circle of lights, carrying the handkerchief. And you don't hear anything more off of that. But the voice goes on and says,
That's what it's called.
one of your group took something that belongs to a former agent of the Bureau, a hapless member known as Mike Jensen, and we need to recover it. It's of dire importance and value to our institution. So if you would just kindly hand over the Well of Many Worlds, this whole confrontation can be ended just like that.
Good berries?
And then Hunter attempts to produce good berries and nothing happens.
Okay.
But you can mark off the spell slot.
Yes. So I'll say,
You know, message me.
yeah, I'll message Harmony and say,
Nothing happens.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So I'll whisper
Derp.
and say, we're in a magic disruptive field right now.
And when you lean over to whisper to Harmony, the voice resumes again and says, "Now I have my agents with their crossbows trained on you. So if I were you, I would keep your voice's volume at the audible level. Can we resolve this situation peacefully or not? Because I don't think the hardheads will care about the blood of a couple primes spilled in the sewers of the city."
Can I use perception to see how many people there are here?
Yeah, it's gonna be hard because you have these lights blaring in your eyes, and beyond it, it's darkness.
Mhm.
So they're like they're using the lights to obscure your vision.
Okay.
But yeah, make a perception check.
Disadvantage or no?
26?
Yeah, disadvantage because you don't have dark vision or anything like that.
That's a lot worse. It's a 23.
Okay. You can make out a total of 7 shapes.
Okay.
But they're like, it's like you barely catch them, just like a little bit of
So
movement
then-
here and there. But you put together, there's probably 7 figures.
Okay.
Well,
If you
I
want
don't
to
know.
talk amongst yourselves, that's perfectly fine. Just let me know when you're ready to deal. And the voice sort of goes quiet.
Alright, which of you two did this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
If they're talking about something that I took off of that guy, I don't have it.
That was a great moment for the video. I just put a fry in my mouth and dropped it.
And then announced it to all of us.
Where is it?
I really don't know. I can say right now.
Don't look at me.
What?
Mara, would you make a deception check?
What else did I take from him? There was something else I thought we got.
Well,
Just
she
gold,
did.
right?
Just
Just
some money.
gold, yeah.
She did just say by name the item that they want.
Oh yeah,
back.
okay. Okay.
Deception check.
Ooh, 8.
Okay. Your opponent rolled a natural 1 on their insight check. The voice resumes and says, "Well, if you don't know where the item in question is, do you have any leads as to its location, at the very least?"
I couldn't be able to tell you. Could be any number of places by now.
Well, we have ways of probing memory to find clues, so if that's all that you can offer, I suppose our peaceful negotiations are at an end? If you have
Didn't
more
you-
concrete information, of course, we can, wave that little dirty
Has it-
act under the table.
Didn't you sell it to that merchant in Farendale?
All I can tell you is it's been out of my hands for quite some time now.
Ethan, has it been a minute?
Not quite yet, I don't think.
I'm pretty sure you sold it to that merchant in Farendale. Don't you remember?
And then it's disappeared, so I have no idea where it is.
Harmony, would you make a deception check?
Sure.
That's a 20.
You can't.
22.
You will absolutely beat it. I rolled a 2 on dice.
Oh man, let's keep this going. 22.
Is there any more information that you can provide the Bureau about who this merchant might be?
I'm really tempted to describe Gavin.
Oh my god!
But I don't know if I want to stick these guys on him or not.
I mean, he's kind of an interplanar threat, so whatever.
Yeah. Alright, I will start describing Gavin.
Okay.
That
So,
is just like glares at you.
You give a name and everything?
I do not give a name. I pretend that we made a shady deal with him in a back alley, and I describe what he looks like and what like his skill set seemed to be.
He's a pretty shady guy, so.
But I don't give them a name.
There's sort of like a exasperated sigh, and you hear the voice continue. Well, in that case, the group of you are of no further interest to us, as long as you can repay the value of the item for your transgressions against the Bureau.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been considering it for the last minute. Like, is Thaddeus gonna let this happen? I think I've decided no.
Yes.
So Thaddeus has been struggling with this internally, and
Yeah.
finally his mouth opens and...
Excuse me.
Yes?
Th-
Sir
th-
Hammerlock?
I don't know what the truth is. I don't know what they did with the item. But they're lying to you. The person they're describing is not a merchant.
Well, now here's some information that is interesting and coming from the mouth of one of your own party members. Would the rest of the group of you like to start speaking a little more truth then?
Okay, sure, he's not a stranger. He's your brother. And it was going to be a gift, but now you're ruining the surprise.
I'm done covering for you two. You can deal with them yourself. I'm leaving. Thaddeus makes to leave.
You hear the sound of crossbows, like
Knocking
locking
or
into
whatever.
place,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
preparing to shoot. And Barbara says, "For the moment, please stay where you are, Sir Thaddeus Hammerlock."
Done with this. Thaddeus just keeps going.
He walks out. Okay. As soon as you leave the bubble, which is to say that sort of like 10-foot radius area that the lights were kind of surrounding, you find yourself walking past sort of like metal tripods with lights set up on them, like these big electric lights that are shining down onto the space. And then you find yourself just in darkness. I need to look something up. Can you make me a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage because you can't see anything?
Sure. Woof. Okay, that's an 8.
An 8. Okay. From out of the darkness, something small
Mm-hmm.
strikes you squarely in the chest.
Oof.
And once it does, it explodes in this like just sort of like a wave of force, and it doesn't hurt. It just kind of washes over you and
Mhm.
then stops. And when the effect has ended, you sort of reach out. You are contained entirely within a bubble of force. I said, "Stay where you are, Sir Thaddeus Hammerlock." And you see, basically, because the bubble is sort of transparent, you see, and Zant, you would see this with your perception check, some of the figures group up around where Thaddeus just emerged, and you wouldn't be able to tell what they're doing, but Thaddeus, they basically secure the bubble in place, and they're
Okay.
just like holding you where you are.
So,
Thaddeus rolls his eyes and just like sits down cross-legged, crossed arm, waiting for this stupid thing
Now
to
that's
go over.
more like it. Now are the rest of you prepared to divulge the location of the Well of the Worlds?
I'm sorry, but I don't feel comfortable having this conversation without a lawyer present. Can I get some representation here, please?
You hear like a spinning sound, and she says angrily, "Primes are not entitled to legal rights within Sigil.
I'm not a prime.
You are." And the voice goes quiet again, waiting for a response.
Well, obviously, we don't have it. So what are you going to do? Just leave us here forever?
Your friend indicated that you were lying.
Search me. I don't have it. None of my friends have it.
Thaddeus, from outside the circle, you hear the voice say, just quietly to the rest of the group that is assembled out there, "Search them." And a couple of figures enter the circle of lights. They are,
I have a question.
yeah,
If we're in some kind of an anti-magic thing, That doesn't mean my amulet's going nuts, right? It's just
No.
completely.
It's just
off.
dull.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Turbo ammo.
Good luck!
The figures that enter the field with you, one of them is a sort of like gray, almost silver-skinned figure, wearing armor, but the skin that is exposed has like these sharp protrusions from it, almost like they look like they're almost like little knives and things that just protrude from the skin, and it's all over, like head to toe, from what you can see. Another one of the figures that enters the field to search the group of you is one of those creatures that you've seen before in Sigil. It's sort of like a four-legged, like sort of like almost half like goat-like, half human sort of figure. And they enter the circle, and they are going to attempt to search you.
I mean, I'll let them.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm not gonna resist. I'll like sit on the ground and empty my little bag and be like, look,
Yeah.
look.
And they do come to Xanth's bag of holding and
And then
sort
I
of gesture
call out.
towards it.
I call out for the wall of the world, and nothing comes out.
They also do the same, just in case there's some trick that.
And then yeah.
Though actually, they say in sort of like the one with the spiked skin says in sort of like a deep husky voice, "I'll need to search this outside of the sphere. I'm
Okay.
sure you understand."
So I walk out with him.
That's fine. He lets you go with,
Yeah.
and he
Then we do the same
basically
thing.
does the same thing.
Yeah.
And then once they have searched the bag in that way, they sort of gesture a crossbow at you and say, "Now back in the circle."
Okay.
Having
it's-
concluded their search,
I'm like grumpily putting my things back in my bag.
the half goat, half human looking creature says,
I love it. That's
"Man, they don't have it on them, but they certainly have enough gold and magic items to pay recompense for it." And Barbara's voice comes back in and says, "Well, then I suppose that's what we're going to have to do, isn't it?"
First of all, you don't have any proof that we took it in the first place.
"Oh, yes, we do."
Can they hear Thaddeus outside the bubble?
You don't know. You can hear through it.
Oh, okay. Then Thaddeus, they almost certainly took it.
What an ass.
wow.
Barbara pipes up and says, "Oh, we are aware. We are 100% certain that your group took it. It's just a matter of where it ended up now. And we will track it down. However, for the time being, we will require a necessary payment for
I'm
your
sorry,
crimes."
but you yourself said the law doesn't apply to crime, so I don't think we have any need to pay you for
I simply
anything.
don't have the right for legal representation. Now, if you'd like to take this to the Harmonium and the Mercy Killers, then we are perfectly happy to oblige. They tend to see things our way."
How much are we talking? Really? Seriously?
Let Eclin find out.
You might need to just.
We don't want to use it. Like, it's really,
Well, you're not gonna have any use for it.
we can't use it. Or we haven't tried.
I know it's a
Like,
pride thing, but like, we need our gold more than we need this piece of shit.
Yeah, we're not giving up any
Fine.
other actual stuff.
No, we need the gold. We worked hard for that gold.
Fine. Well, I was gonna
An
say.
object of its
I just steal the money back.
legendary
before I
magical
leave.
properties would run you approximately 125,000 gold pieces. Now, if my agents say that you have the requisite gold and or magic items to pay for that on your person, then, well, that will do. And perhaps once we eventually do recover the item from this merchant, and you can almost hear the air quotes, who it was sold to,
I had
we can
deceived them, you motherfucker.
we can potentially
So
reimburse
angry.
you a portion
You
of
told
the
a bad
damages,
lie.
but
It was, I rolled a 23. It
No,
was a very
You
good
told
lie.
a lie that Thaddeus disagreed with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, you know, I would have hoped
I'm
you would
kind
have
of-
learned
so
by
If you
now.
had described Barton, we wouldn't have you.
So it's been over a minute.
Can you imagine though? Barton's there in Ravenmore.
I didn't want to stick him on anybody that I
These
actually
guys
cared
kicked down
about.
the door. What's he
Oh,
gonna
that
do?
is so bad.
I was doing you a
He
fucking favor. you
flexes muscles.
motherfucker.
So I wanted to use Know Your Enemy on Barbara and get an idea of what her class levels are.
You have to be able to see her.
So I'll
No,
tell
I don't think so. Interacting with another creature outside of
Okay.
combat.
Pinky to put it somewhere on one of the persons.
That would be really funny.
Barbara has,
Or if you just
I want class levels, and I
drop it
want
under.
and the information you learn is
Yeah,
like
'cause
relative to you.
that would
right?
be
yes.
the best
You can say
revenge.
you can give me
Do that.
superior, inferior,
He must
or
have
your
fallen out of his
or your
pocket.
choosing.
And I'll have the
He's
rats
the only
kind
one
of,
that they
We're
didn't
equal.
search.
Oh my
have
god.
the rats
Barbara has equal class levels.
Equal class levels,
What?
and then HP.
Oh, poop.
Does he have more or less than 148?
No, that would give you
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I want to mess with her. So then I also chime in and say, yeah, we should not deal with these guys. We should not fight them.
Yeah, and I think you probably would have sort of gleaned this information as you stepped out of the circle.
Mhm.
And you don't have dark vision, but you could sort of get a little bit better
Yes,
idea
yeah.
of the people that you're dealing with. And you see that the figure who is doing the talking and is identified themselves as Barbara is wearing like even in the dark you can tell that they're like auspicious robes.
Ostentatious?
Ostentatious, that's the
Okay.
word I'm looking for.
Auspicious.
Auspicious is the wrong one. Ostentatious robes. So like, she's clearly either like a high-ranking priest or
Yeah.
a wizard or
Yeah.
like that sort of.
This isn't her
person.
first go around.
And yeah, is definitely a higher rank than Mike Jensen was clearly.
I mean, he was a.
Well, he doesn't have, from what she said, he doesn't have any rank at all anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna call Pinky back.
Pinky comes scurrying back into the circle.
Are you going to try and
Not
pin,
into the circle.
are you going to try
right?
and
No,
pin
no.
the evidence?
Yeah. Do it. But I don't know. I don't want to get him in trouble because it'll delay us.
He just got us in trouble.
Thaddeus, the bubble that was surrounding you pops.
Yes, good timing. Do it. Do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the well underneath his foot with part of it peeking out.
Okay.
And
Thaddeus, make a perception check.
Okay. Not my strongest suit.
And Pinky, make a sleight of hand. So it's just dexterity if he doesn't have it.
Oh my
Ho, ho, ho.
Pinky got an 8.
I got a 22.
god. Natural 20.
Yeah.
You need to start with that.
Yeah.
You see this
I
rat
think that
sort
kinda
of
came
like
across.
waiting for the moment when your bubble pops,
Uh-huh.
and then try to slip the well right under your foot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Thaddeus
But
clears his throat and says, "Excuse me, I think I found this."
So blame the rat.
I'm
it
gonna
was in
also
his
Make
pocket
a
the whole
perception check
time.
for Barbara.
Oh, for Barbara.
What was Pinky's sleight of
8.
hand? 8. I've increased in increments of 1.
What,
As I
a
rolled
3
for
now?
Barbara. I rolled a 3.
That's amazing.
Thaddeus, did you have it in your pocket this whole time?
Now that would be highly rude, Sir Thaddeus Hammerlock.
And now you're
Sure
trying
would.
to pin it on us.
But the figure sort of strides towards you, and once they get close enough, even though it's dark, you can see that she is a very tall woman.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely carries herself with a lot of authority. The sort of authority you'd equate with nobles back on Elendil.
Does she look human?
In fact, she does.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Go on.
I was gonna say before Thaddeus hands her the cloth, I say, "Hang on, Thaddeus. How about we all walk out of here together? Everybody."
Now, the group of you are more than welcome, and you since you're standing right next to Barbara, you can see that she turns her head towards the circle to look at Xant. The group of you are more than welcome to leave this circle of mine and the sewers in general and go about your way within Sigil as soon as I have recovered the asset.
I'm gonna do an insight check.
Okay.
It's not very good.
Make it
but-
at disadvantage just because you can't see.
I thought she came in with us.
No, she's out with Thaddeus.
Okay, well.
Does my blind sense work with
It's
lights too?
a 13.
Yeah, it would.
I can
13
see.
total.
Yeah.
With the darkness impeding your vision, the lack of visual cues to read off of, it's hard to tell anything.
I think we should walk out here together.
What are you
and
trying to say?
I'm saying for safety,
Uh-huh.
we hand them the bargaining chip and they turn on us.
Oh,
Let us out of the circle
How about,
first.
how
and
about
then
we
we'll,
all leave the sewers
and
together
then
and go to the
You
streets?
can have your thing back.
oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I was confused. Like,
I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah. Like the four? No, you meant everybody.
Everybody.
Okay.
You can make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Can someone else make that for me?
You're the one
Nope.
with the
You're the one
suggestion.
talking.
I know.
Not gonna help
nope,
you either.
that's not gonna do it.
Okay. Barbara says, unfortunately, we have the upper hand here, and your friend is willing to hand it over, I assume?
In fact, I'm doing it right now.
And she takes it in hand, and then she shouts,
I spit.
that's fine. She shouts, all right, soldiers, you see that we have recovered she's like, takes a second to inspect it, like holds it up in the air, and then says, all right, soldiers, you see that we have recovered the asset. Put away your crossbows and allow these fine folks to leave.
Which way is out? Can we follow you?
We can get you a new one.
Barbara just sort of shakes her head and says, you primes are always so demanding.
I don't want to follow them.
Just points down, like out into the darkness, and you can't see beyond it, but presumably there's a way that way. We're going that way, however.
As soon as all of us are out of the circle and out of eyesight, I'm going to kick Thaddeus really hard and then cast teleport before he's able to respond
Okay.
to go inside of Ciel's house.
The
Roll damage, I guess.
It's like 1 hit point, right?
Oh,
if
that's
it's
right, yeah.
unarmed.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
group of them
What's your
go off
strength
in one
rating?
direction and sort of
One?
leave you be.
Oh, it's a two.
And when they're going off, you feel the weird sensation that you were feeling in regards to your connection to your magic dissipate. They leave the big electric lights in the circle.
I'm going to kick one over
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
then kick Thaddeus.
Once it hits the water, it like sparks with electricity. And then you find yourselves, once you're beyond the lights and sort of are able to see your surroundings, you're not being blinded, you can make out that you're in sort of like a nexus of a sewer system. You fell down from a pipe that emerged over sort of like a circular pool of sewer water. And there are tunnels going off in several different directions. Barbara had pointed you towards one, which Harmony can now see in the darkness, and then headed off towards another.
Yeah, I wait until we're out of sight, kick Thaddeus really hard, and then cast
Thaddeus.
teleport before he can complain about it.
My next move was to negotiate to go get it back from the merchant and maybe make some money.
How much
What
money
are
do
you
you
doing?
need?
Teleport into Ciel's home. So hopefully we will not be seen by anyone.
I didn't have much either.
I was gonna offer to go get it back from said merchant.
They weren't gonna let us
Harmony,
leave.
when you attempt to cast, well, I'll just give you this so that you don't waste a spell. Ciel's shop was one of those things where it was like smaller on the outside, bigger on the
Not
inside.
her shop, her house.
Oh, the house. Okay, yeah, then that'll work.
I know that we can't go into her shop because it's like an
Pocket dimension.
pocket
Super-
dimension
super
thing.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll some percentile dice then.
That's right, 'cause I don't have anything from her.
You have the robe.
That was from the shop. Not, it
Mm.
wasn't from her, from their house.
I like how you roll
46.
them first.
You did too.
Did I?
Yeah.
I would say that this is.
Also, I'm gonna roll for wild magic. No wild magic.
How many nights did you stay there? Just one or two?
I want to say 2,
2?
but yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
I think we did 2.
Okay. When
Here.
the teleport sensation occurs, there's that flash of rainbow color and the pulling that you're very familiar with. as your body is ripped from its location in the world and pulled to another. And when the dizzying sensation fades and the rainbow colors disappear, you find yourselves standing in a home, not Cial's home. And there is a very confused human woman standing over a stove in the middle of like flipping an omelet, and she just kind of looks at you and says, "Oh, why are you in my home?"
I'll cast suggestion.
Okay.
I suggest you forget we were ever here. We were just leaving.
She continues the omelet flipping motion and says, "Yeah, I think that's a good idea." Just flips her omelet.
Let's go, guys.
You walk out the front door,
Yep.
and you find yourselves in an unfamiliar street in Sigil.
I can use the Ruby Ascending to contact Cial.
Can I use my ranger trait? What's it called? Natural explorer
Well,
to
we're not
kind
in
of
a natural
find.
setting.
Yeah, it's not really a natural setting.
Okay.
Can we tell which district we're in based on what it looks like? Is that what they're called? Districts? I can't even remember.
I think
Wards.
so.
Wards, yeah.
Can I tell which ward we're in?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll. Not sure what it would be.
Gosh.
Intelligence check?
Survival?
I like survival.
Yeah, we can do survival.
I can do survival.
Not you, I'm asking.
Oh, I was trying to lead into
Survival's
that.
one of my proficiencies.
You're so proficient.
I got a 12.
A 12? Based on the ones you've seen before, it probably most closely resembles the which ones did you see before?
Market, clerics, the mind flayer
Clerks.
one, clerks,
And Hive.
In the Hive. It most closely resembles the Clerk's Ward. But you can't be sure that that's what
I'm
it
gonna
is.
roll as well and try.
Much better.
That's a 22. I'm proficient too.
22. Hunter, based on the information you heard from Cial about the different wards that exist within the city, you would guess that you are probably in. I'm scrambling to look up the different wards. What is known as the Ladies' Ward.
Ladies?
Yep.
Okay. So I will relay the information. I think we're in the ladies' ward.
Yeah.
Where is that?
I think Thaddeus is still. I guess he wanted to talk to Mara, but like,
I know. I was
Talking
like,
about
what is that?
yeah.
The interest circus?
I think he's like, listen, Mara. That wasn't just me being spiteful. I'm trying to prove a point here. I don't interfere in the shenanigans that you and Harmony get up to.
No, never.
Not in Allendale, but this isn't Allendale. This is Signal, and we're going somewhere far worse. And the consequences for shenanigans in that place are going to be way.
Meanwhile, we're arguing about
Yeah.
which ward we're in.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure this is the clerk's ward.
ladies'
How
ward.
did they even know that it was me?
You think they're not going to be able to figure that out in the hells?
Doesn't have to do with anything.
I guess.
I think we shout out at the same time, like, we're in this
It's the
ward.
clerk's ward.
Ladies' ward.
What?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of the ladies' ward.
Looking around, Zant, the reason you think it's probably the ladies' ward as opposed to the clerk's ward was that the clerk's ward had kind of bustling streets. There was a lot of business being conducted. But even though it's daytime hours here, looking around, there's not a lot going on. Like occasionally you will see people going about their, like walking in the street, but it's very sparse. And the people you do see tend to be wearing fancier clothes that indicate a little bit of wealth, a little bit of status, maybe even like a little bit of nobility, perhaps.
Okay.
It's definitely also the cleanest you have
So
seen.
I'm gonna
Sigil
try and
be.
persuade Harmony that we're in the ladies' room. It didn't go well.
What's your total score?
7.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm pretty sure this is the clerk's ward, though.
No, it's definitely not. Look at all the people here.
I'm not convinced.
Well, Harmony, if you're in the clerk's ward, you know that you'll have to go clockwise around the torus that
Oh,
is
no.
Sigil. However, if you're in the ladies' ward, you will have to go counterclockwise around the torus that is Sigil to get to Cial's apartment.
And I'm like, it's that way.
It's that way. We're in the clerk's ward, so we have to
No.
go that way.
Nope, it's the other way.
Don't make me cast suggestion on you.
Will one of you just pay it out?
We're going
What?
this way.
I'm not convinced.
I tried.
Which way do you guys end up going?
I'm going counterclockwise.
If he just goes, I'll follow.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm
they,
pretty sure
if they're
this is
both
the
going
wrong
that way, I guess Mara and I are going to follow them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Do you want me to just message
Nope,
Cial?
we're good.
Because I can.
We're good. Do we know how long it'll take to get there?
No clue.
We don't,
However,
we don't know the neighboring, like how, if we're on the opposite side or.
clueless.
with your survival check, what you would remember is that the ladies' ward is adjacent to the market ward.
Okay, so we're like right there.
Counterclockwise.
And
Okay,
she
sure.
lives in the market ward, right? They live in the market ward.
I thought they lived in the.
Yes.
Or
oh,
do they live in the
the
clerk?
clerk's ward.
No, we
and
had to go
they
through the
shop.
clerk ward to go from Hive ward to
Ah, that's right.
the market ward.
Okay.
I
Okay.
believe their place is in the market ward.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going.
Okay.
Nice.
And it's not long before the city streets sort of give way to the chaos that you remember that is Sigil. Just people everywhere, people looking
Okay.
like completely ridiculous combinations of beings walking together. You know, like angels walking side by side with fiends, mind flayers walking side by side with humans and chatting. You know, things like that. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Pairings and stuff.
Varieties of creatures, and you quickly begin to see more shops and things like that, and then before very long you find yourself in the an area you recognize as the bustling Grand Bazaar of Sigil, where
Is that
Cial's.
gem merchant still there?
You want to make a perception check to look for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's not very good. That's a 7.
Alright. There is no sign of the Ifriti gem merchant as far as you can tell, but this bazaar is vast and huge. And there's just so
Bizarre.
much going on that it is absolutely bizarre. However, after a little bit of walking, you sort of get your bearings, and you could easily navigate yourself from here to Cial's shop or Cial's house, whichever one you'd like to go to.
What time of day is it?
It's kind of hard to tell because there's no sun in the sky or anything like that. Sigil just kind
based on the bustling.
Sigil also doesn't really sleep. Is
Okay.
the thing. However, it is somewhat dim out.
So we should probably go to their house.
So we don't know what, like, it's close to anti-peak or whatever, and like what time it is
Like, I just remember they were very adamant about us not being out
at night.
at night.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
Yeah, let's press on to Cial's house.
Sure.
they're sure will let us.
Within maybe an hour or so more, a little bit of wandering, a little bit of backtracking, you find your way to Cial's place, and it is locked up. Cial doesn't seem to be home if you knock on the door.
And the fox doesn't answer either.
But in the process of your travel, it got a little bit dimmer, so probably won't be long before Cial is home.
I can send them a message.
It's up to you at this
A
point.
message.
Why don't you think about it?
I can send them a message, and then or we can
Take
just
that.
wait.
Take the straw out of her mouth.
Sorry.
Yeah, get that out. What are you trying to say? Where'd you even find this?
I don't know.
Is that wild magic happening again?
I don't know. That's probably.
Just have flowers growing out of
Yeah.
it.
What happened this time?
I can send them a message to let them know we're here, or we can just wait. But I get nervous about being out when it's dark.
I'm fine either way. If you
And
want
their servant's not answering the door.
I know, nobody's there.
Little foxes.
No
Don't hold the
one
foxes.
wants to come to the door. The fox-like
I can
servants
pick the lock.
serve at the shop, so
Oh.
usually they aren't.
Oh, that's right. One was like
One
here to
part
take us
is-
to the.
yeah.
That's, yeah.
I could pick the lock.
I don't think that's a great idea. I mean, I could dimension door
Well,
inside and
we know
unlock
we're
it.
coming.
Seal's a spellcaster, so there's maybe likely.
Some kind of arcane
Yeah,
protection.
let's just not. Let's just not.
You guys remember the last time you broke into a wizard's place of residence?
Was that Helia's tower? Or was
Yeah.
It? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
They
lot of
almost got
crap
killed
going
by
on.
snails.
All the fog.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
yeah.
Alright, I'll take out the review sending and I
Alright.
will send a message to Seal and say, hey, we're at your house, where are you?
The response you get back almost immediately, it's pretty quick, is, oh, I wasn't sure you'd arrived. I'll just close at my shop a little early and be right over. That's it.
They're on their way.
Great. Thanks for
Good.
And within maybe 45 minutes or so, Cial arrives back at the house. Today, they're wearing mostly like black robes, but the accents are like vibrant gold. And
Hey,
yeah, the hair as well. The hair as well.
Stop that. Black Eagles do not own black and gold. That's on every single uniform. Sorry.
Isn't it black and red? Anyways.
Red. All of the uniforms are black.
Anyways, the hair as well is tinged with basically the fringes of the hair are gold, and the eyes of Cial seem to be gold as well today. And they seem to be in a rather chipper mood as they greet you. Hello, you're back.
I just want
Good
to
to
point
see
out
you.
that for the entire 45 minutes, I've been giving Thaddeus the worst silent treatment he's ever had from me.
I
Ever.
also like to imagine that you have prestidigitation off the sewer from everybody else except for him.
Yes. Yes, this is 100% true.
Cial basically greets you all and then says, Thaddeus, you're looking a little filthy. Hold on, let me deal with that. And cast prestidigitation.
Thank you.
So yeah, after prestidigitating Thaddeus, Cial says,
Can I use prestidigitation to make things dirty?
you can, I believe, actually.
Wait,
So
really?
you bring it and put it back on
I think
him?
it does say you can clean or soil.
Oh my God, I
something
think
in a
you're right.
5-foot cube.
I'm pretty sure
I've
you're
never
right.
seen it used that
I'm
way.
pretty
You
sure
can
you're right.
instantly clear soil and objects. So after they do that, I'm gonna use subtle spell to make it dirty again. But when their attention has moved on.
Cial basically goes to unlocking the door, and the group of you hear Cial whisper a couple arcane words.
I'm definitely
And you
doing
see a
subtle
little
spell.
arcane spark dissipate from
Yeah,
the door.
figured. I'm like
Um,
seeing Mara. That's
as
why
the
we don't
group
do
of you
that.
enter.
I'm over here just making Thaddeus dirty again.
And Cial kind of gestures the group of you in, and then when it's Thaddeus' turn to step in, Cial just says, I thought I cleaned you off. Hold on. And casts it again.
Just don't bother.
And then gives Harmony a look.
I'm just gonna act very innocent as I walk inside.
Very
Cial saw right through it. Gesturing you into the sitting room, Cial kind of bustles about the kitchen, brings some tea, and then sits down across from you and says, so, what's on the agenda other than meeting the oarsmen who I've hired for you?
We have to go get our papers.
We do have to.
And to be clear, I only covered the upfront payment. They do sometimes require a little bit more after the fact, based on how long the journey takes.
That should be fine.
So, we have enough money now to do everything, so we don't need to loan any from Cial.
We weren't going to loan. I mean, we have a favor to fulfill.
The
See,
favor is the payment for the items we
The
already
road,
got, and the
yeah.
money that we got is to buy the papers.
And other stuff.
Yeah.
I know, but I thought we were in really, really, really big debt to him. I know I
We
was
still
going.
are.
We are.
We don't have enough money,
But we're
that's
paying
what I'm
that. We're paying that back by doing them a favor.
And we didn't bring that money
2
with
favors.
us.
Mm-hmm.
We brought some of
Okay.
it with us.
Yeah.
Some of it, but we couldn't bring all of it. So
Yes.
I see where you're going. Like, we could just pay for the stuff we already bought, but
But we already.
we're going to the Hells anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well use that money for other things.
Okay.
So also
bad
shopping.
feeling about it.
All right. Well, that's understandable. The other thing I should mention about contracting a Yugoloth to do any sort of task for you is that a steady stream of money never hurts your cause. They're mercenaries and they do not owe their loyalty to anyone. So if you can continue to keep them happy financially,
How much money are you
What's
talking?
what's their
the
rate here?
increments?
Yeah.
How big are these increments that we should be?
I mean, if they
It's
open
a
a
little bit
door
hard
for
to
us, do
say.
we have to tell
There's a saying, or I guess supposedly a little bit of a wives' tale at this point, but they say that you want to make sure that your Yugoloth gets paid 4 times what they ask. And I covered 100 gold per person in advance. So if you can, over the course of time, feed a little bit more money to them, things should be in good order.
Should be fairly
100
easy.
per person. There's 4 of us, so 600. That's fine.
I cast prestidigitation again.
On
On Thaddeus.
Cial speaks a word and it fizzles. As your
Counterspell?
prestidigitation is counterspelled. And they look at you and
pout.
say, Harmony, no dirt in the house, please. As soon as you and Thaddeus leave the house, you can continue your squabble. Just keep it in check for now, please.
Guess who's gonna get wrapped up on the pillow tonight?
When you're ready to meet your oarsmen, we can take a trip down to the lower ward, where they'll be waiting for you. But since it sounds like you have a little bit of work to do in the city, or do you want to just stay the night and then go about your business in the morning?
If that's alright with
Yeah,
you.
that's okay with you.
Of course. Anything for my favorite customers. And there's a big smile with the fangs showing.
Thaddeus says, it's maybe the last time in my life I'm ever clean again, so I'm not eager to get out.
What else can
right.
I do with prestidigitation? This is fun.
Army's exploring herself. This is not good. Let's see. And then I'll ask Seal, hey, do you still have that belt?
High or low?
Oh, no. Low.
Okay.
When you ask for it, you have to stand like this, though.
Wow.
Ciel says,
So petty.
in fact, I do have a buyer or
I'm the
two
worst.
interested, but we're haggling over prices and I'm quickly losing interest in their business.
What's the current price for it?
Let's see, it was a legendary item, if I recall.
I cast prestidigitation to make a very odd odor come off of Thaddeus's head.
Okay.
It's not dirt.
But then we all suffer.
It's just like coming off of the top of his head.
Let's see,
Christ,
high
it
bidder
was.
is sitting at 125,000 gold pieces, but to be honest, I'd like to get a little bit more out of them. Though I'd be
Nice.
willing to offer it to the group of you for that price, since
It was cheaper last time.
brand loyalty.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 100k last
Oh
time.
yes, but now I have other buyers interested.
I see. Maybe we can make a deal.
Unfortunately, I have no more favors in the Hells to ask for, but I am more than willing to take that price. If
Okay.
you're
Well,
interested.
maybe tomorrow when we do some shopping, we'll stop by and talk about it.
I'll hold it for now.
That'd be
Let the
great.
buyers fight it out a little bit more. Maybe that will encourage them to raise the price a little.
Well, let's
See all flashes the smile and says, no. But of course, if you decide you want it,
Yeah, sure.
that's a more than fair price.
Okay.
How much was on the boat again?
100k, I think.
Oh, okay, so you couldn't afford it anyway.
Yeah, maybe we can work something out.
I mean, you can sell your belt and other stuff like that. So,
I was gonna give the old one to Thaddeus, but
what's Thaddeus' strength rating?
18.
Oh, okay. So
Should
it
be
would
plus
be
2.
would be a bonus with Thaddeus.
yeah, pretty good. But in any case, that's the only thing I was gonna ask. So
If you guys seem hungry, Ciel gets some food for you. It's sort of standard prime material playing fare. It's nothing special. And then sit around the city room in the evening, talking over tea and things like that.
Tell them all about the ghost ship.
That it's just picking at his food because, smell is such a big part of taste, and it's not very
Savory.
hungry right
You
It
could
now.
make it
lasts
so that
for an hour.
you could make it so the smell like originates at his chin too, so it's just like going right up into his nose.
What did I do to you? I know what I did to these two.
I can't believe it lasts for an hour. If this lasts for the whole hour, then I will be completely satisfied with my punishment.
That is, you have an unpleasant meal.
Yeah.
I can't do anything for you.
You guys, I don't know if you would even know.
It's up to you, I think, to make for the strength of the odor, right?
Yeah, and I think I just want to punish
You're just-
him.
Yeah. Poor Thaddeus. Poor guy.
He kind of deserves it.
He definitely does.
Looking out the window, it seems like Anti-Peak has arrived. Ciel seems to get a little bit tired and kind of starts making signals as if they might want to retire upstairs to their quarters. And then finally just says, well, the group of yourselves can make yourselves comfortable here on my couches and things. In the morning I'm going to head out early to tend to my shop as I have to do, but do you know where you're going in the city? Do you need a guide or?
We've been there once before, but
The
Sigel's
papers place?
big place.
Papers, please.
Papers.
It's called the Guildhall Ward. And we're looking for Almus's travel agency.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you do get lost, you can always enlist services of. There are some sketchy touts out there. You might want to avoid them, but the light boys tend to be reliable. Tip them well. Most of them are orphans.
How much did Ciel tip last time? Like a silver or something?
Yeah, it was a matter of silvers. It wasn't anything
Okay.
major. So.
Alright.
Sure.
Yeah, we should be fine. Then we can come find you at your shop when we're ready to meet the,
Sounds good to me. In that case, I'll see you in the afternoon when your business is concluded. And Ciel goes up to their room
Thanks for letting
and
us.
leaves the group of you alone.
I want to do two things tonight. One is I was kind of curious of why Anti-Peak is scary, so I wanted to sit next to the window, sort of observe
Okay.
people watch a little bit. The other thing is I wanted to think more
Kiss
about.
Mara really hard on the lips.
Nope. Arcane check for true name is something that. I
Oh
wrote down.
yeah. The conversation you had earlier. Yeah, roll another Arcana check as you sort of spend time moodily sitting by the
Okay.
window, kind of watching the streets outside.
That's a 16.
16.
Pondering relationships.
What you see outside, we'll do that first.
Okay.
Since you have such a high perception, it's easy enough for you to spot it. It's not necessarily that it's physically dangerous out there, but you can tell, like, once it gets dark, all of the people who were hiding in the alleys and things like that during the light hours of the day come out, and it just seems like the crowd that is on the streets gets a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more. You from your vantage point, you spot not one, not two, but maybe 3 or 4 robberies occur.
Oh wow. Okay.
Not like armed robbery, but like pickpocketing, I guess is a better
Sure.
word. Like
Okay.
you see people getting pickpocketed by young children and like
Okay.
adults alike, you know.
So there isn't like a whole lot of like fighting. It's just little crimes and stuff like that.
No, from your vantage point, you might spot like 1 or 2 small fights, but they're pretty quickly broken up by armed guards who you would recognize as Harmonium
Mm-hmm.
soldiers.
Okay.
And then as you're sort of taking the time to, you let your mind wander and you think back on the conversation that you had with Harmony. The thing that was pulling at your attention was with a 16, what you would get is that the thing that was sort of bothering you was this idea of names having power itself. There's just something about that concept that is intriguing to you.
Okay. So there's more to the story, is what I'm gathering, or like?
Not so much there's more to the story. It's like there's a possibility there that it could be explored, but you're not quite sure what it is. Like there's something to that concept.
Are you saying I can investigate this more? Or
Yeah, you can think about it some more. With a 16, that's about all you're gonna figure out.
Okay, but if I roll, I mean that's really high for me. But
I mean,
roll,
if you have some ideas what that might mean, you can feel free to workshop them with your group in the morning.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'll just like sleep on that. I think. You can't think about it.
In that case, the morning of, well, I guess, light begins to filter in through the windows as the streets of Sigil begin to embrace the next morning. When the group of you rise, presumably Thaddeus is the first awake, but Cial is nowhere to be seen, though there is a pot of tea that is brewed and just sort of waiting to be reheated for you. So the day has dawned. Looking out the window, it is light outside, and the day is yours.
It's a nice day to go to hell.
It's metal.
Don't make me give you a stink cloud again.
Harmony gives Thaddeus the stink eye.
I think I will ask Harmony in the morning. So I was thinking last night about the true name discussion that we had.
Right.
And there's something interesting about it that I can't quite put my finger on, like the concept of the true name and how it has power. I'm trying to get information from that, but I don't know what else. I guess I don't know why my character's interested.
I mean, it's just like, based on the conversation you had, there's like a half-formed idea.
Okay.
Like a possibility that you could explore, but you're not sure what it is.
Are you bringing this to the group or just to Harmony?
I think I'm not like whispering.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like kind of speaking when we're all up, and then I notice Harmony's here and more of her tea or something. So yeah, if anyone else wants to chime in, it's fine.
Can I roll something to see if I can figure out what he's trying to talk about?
Yeah, I guess you could roll an Arcana intelligence check here.
It's too early.
It's way too early. I'm very confused.
And it's also kind of weird because he doesn't
That's
really know what he's
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about.
like something's
That's a 12.
poking at me about this, and I'm not really sure why. Like maybe if I had some more information about it.
It's a weird concept to me because I've never had a name other than my name.
Yeah.
I mean, you've gone by 2 names.
But that was one of them was given, and one of them was
Weren't they both given?
Mm-hmm. But it's an interesting thing to think about. When you couldn't remember who you were,
Yeah.
when Hunter was all you were, was that your true name then, or was it still that?
It wasn't until I realized my past that I knew what my actual identity was. So yeah, I would say for the time being, that's how I truly believe. Because there was never really a time that I thought I would get everything back. So
Which suggests that a true name can change, that it's not fixed.
maybe.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I guess it depends on what this power means and why it has power. What can someone do with it?
In Tiefling culture, the bad bedtime stories run the gambit. There's all kinds of things that is said that the true name could make you do. It could grant someone complete control over you. It could
grant someone complete control over you. It could.
Well, words are powerful. I mean, words cause spells. So a name, I can understand why a name would be powerful.
Yeah, I mean, divulging it to the wrong person in some stories just leads to misfortune being brought upon the tiefling who divulges it. There's all kinds of stories in the book.
All kinds of stories about that.
Nod, sip tea, nod. I see. So but your mom never used it against you, right?
Well, of course not. She's my mom.
Even when you were, you?
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm sure you were mischievous when you were growing up too.
Well, Well, yeah, I mean, it's
Seeing
not
as
like...
you poofed into a, you poofed your friends and yourself, and we met right after.
Yeah, that wasn't my finest moment. But, we've had our ups and downs in our relationship, but, like, that... using a name, that's a serious thing, And
Yeah.
she's my mom. She'd never do that to me.
Sure.
I feel like our mother used our true names on us every now and then when we were acting up. And she calls out our full name with the middle name included. That's kind of
It's
using
powerful,
a true name.
right?
It's powerful. Exactly.
It makes you kind of, like, stop what you're doing and, like, tuck your tail between your legs, right? Like, metaphorically speaking, in your case.
Oh, I love that.
So that's kind of the idea.
So funny
Yeah,
to me.
I see what you mean.
Okay,
It's
alright.
kind of the idea.
Drink some more tea. I see. Thanks for sharing.
But, especially with this Mother Midnight business, and, like, my tribe has always kind of had these stories and superstitions, you might call them, related to hags and night hags and their powers.
But have you ever seen this happen, this phenomena, that this true name being used in this abusing way?
Not in my lifetime.
Okay.
Would Moloch know anything about that?
Would Moloch
Yeah,
know
Moloch
anything
is
about that?
around if you want to. He's being quiet, but if you want to direct the conversation to him, what do you ask?
I would,
Would you know anything about?
yeah,
The
I'd
power
just bring
of
him
true
into the
name?
conversation. What do you know about this?
Oh yeah, I mean, plenty. It's like you say that the true name has a lot of power. I think probably the most accurate of the stories you mentioned are the ones that grant the knower of a true name complete power over the individual that they know the name for. But
Is there some sort of ritual or something that needs to happen, or like?
no, you just speak it. But that's sort of the thing.
Huh.
I mean, that's how your mom controlled you, right?
More or less.
Moloch
I didn't
kind
realize
of
Nero
gives
was so
Harmony
powerful.
a little look, an appraising look, and so like kind of like
That's
he
the
has
plan.
something he might say, but Moloch does. He,
To me?
Yeah, he's
Oh.
giving you a look like he has something he might say, but like, I guess roll an insight check.
But clearly, it's not just that. I mean, I know Harmony's true name now, but it's not as if she will do anything I said.
Yeah.
Harmony is, Moloch is giving you a look, and you don't know what it means. And finally, he looks like he's waiting for something from you, and finally he just shrugs his shoulders and says, "Look, I mean, no offense." And he's like looking you in the eyes, and he says, "No offense.
I'm very lost.
Your true name doesn't really mean diddly squat."
Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, tieflings, they have this culture of, having a true name with their close relatives, and then a name that they choose for themselves that represents what they want to achieve,
You
But-
know a lot about my people.
Yeah, of course I do. And he just kind of gestures himself like up and down. Like, of course I do. But, the real power is in the names of actual fiends, right? Like, you're not an actual devil.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
So if the archdevil uses another devil's true name, is that where the power comes from?
Oh yeah, complete subordination on the part of the
Huh.
devil whose name is called. No
But-
choice.
And I'd like to point out Harmony, but since Harmony isn't attached to an archdevil,
Well, I mean, like, the name has some power in certain circumstances, perhaps, but it's not the same. It's nowhere near the same. If your true name is known and you're a devil, you are crippled by the person who knows it.
Do you know
Powerless.
Malagard?
Is that's not her true name.
Shakes his head and says, it's not something that fiends know commonly for other fiends.
But
That's their
where is
most
this-
closely guarded
Where
secret.
would this information even be?
I mean, this much I don't really know. To be honest, there are legends about ledgers that magically contain the names of every fiend in existence. There are
Like genealogy?
Your Melissa is showing.
family tree of all.
there are stories of ancient hags who have books that record the true names of Yugoloths they once had in their service, things like that, which have been had their pages scattered through the cosmos.
Interesting.
That sounds like a very lengthy quest.
Was it a problem for you when, I don't suppose Moloch is your true name?
He shakes his head. Of course not. No.
So you were in no danger when I accidentally revealed it in the shop the other day?
No. Well, a little danger.
It's not your true name, but it's still a name that is known.
I am a known devil. Like I said, I used to rule a layer of the hell, so
And your
that
name
is
was
information
Moloch
that
then,
got back
too?
to someone it maybe shouldn't have.
I see.
But
Gave
we-
someone a bargaining chip that I wasn't anticipating giving.
Hey, but I suggested them to forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have that bargaining chip anymore.
Yeah.
But it almost was that.
Okay. Well, thanks for the insight. Huh. Think about this a little bit more myself maybe later.
On that note, shall we go get some paperwork?
Yes, please.
Sure.
You make your way out into the city. I think probably on your own, without too much trouble, you can find your way to,
Back to the agency.
Elmas's travel agency. That was the name, right? Elmas?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And check.
Which is, to remind you, it's a sort of obsidian, a black obsidian building with a red roof on it. And it has the sign overhanging it that says Elmas's Travel Agency. And when you enter, the same pair of imps that you saw before, you recognize Kret and Tret, the two diabolical specialists who run the counter. One of them, I think, wore a pair of spectacles, and the other one had like a wig, if I recall correctly. And they both sort of hop up on the counter and give a low bow as you come in, and they say, "Ah, wonderful, customers! What can we do to help you?"
We've come for
It's the
the
one with the wig that is speaking.
we've come for the papers we saw before. We have payment now.
Ah, excellent. In that case, you'll be wanting to speak to Kret. And the one with the spectacles kind of perches up on the counter and beckons you forward.
I beckon our money guy forward.
My monocle goes on as well.
Avernus Stygia Nalbold.
Yes, I believe as we discussed, the payment was 750 gold pieces per person, per layer. And sort of counts the group of you. 4 of you.
So we don't need 5 anymore.
Right.
We had 3 layers, correct?
3 levels.
Yeah. 3.
Okay.
Which
So-
brings you to a total of 9,000 gold pieces.
I have written here that Kret has the curly wig and Tret has the
Oh,
spectacles.
did I get it backwards? My bad.
Yeah, that's
Unless they like traded.
Which
did-
they did.
But did they trade accoutrements or did they trade names?
No, they traded. Well, who knows?
Today you're gonna be Tret.
This also includes.
Either way, to your keen memory, they do seem to have switched.
This also includes the soul coins.
No. The soul coins
yes.
is Tret. Tret will do the soul
They were
coins.
going to give us a deal.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have
see.
it written
Yeah.
down.
Like
For
a-
every 3,000 gold we spend, we get 1 complimentary soul coin. So we should be getting 3 soul coins from this.
Yes, of course. It's part of the bargain.
Also, I have it as 9,000 flat
for 4
for
people.
the total.
Well, that's what he said.
That's what he
Yeah.
I thought I
said.
said 9,500.
No,
he
90,
said
9,000.
Okay, perfect. Then we're on the same page.
But shouldn't it be cheaper now that we only need 4?
No, we already did that. That's why it's 9,000. It used to be 11,250.
Yeah, that's what I have too. So we would still get
So
3
the full
coins
price
either
for
way.
last time.
Can we get soul coins?
Yes, 3 of them.
Only 3?
My associate,
One for every 3,000.
Right, got it.
It'd be
Yep,
3
you're
either way.
right.
my associate Tret, our diabolical chemist, can assist you with retrieving those coins and any further transactions you may wish to make.
Okay. And
How
these.
much?
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
how much is a soul coin worth
300
down
gold.
there? No. I mean down
Oh,
in the hells. Can we buy something with just 1? Are we gonna need like 10 or 50?
Well,
Or
it depends on the magnitude of the
give me
fiend
some
that you're
examples.
dealing with.
Like
So
what is
for
one
example-
soul? What can the 1 soul coin buy?
You want a imp to deliver a message several layers down in the hells. toss him a soul coin, he'll gladly do it. You want a general in the service, sorry, not a general, a lieutenant in the service of the General of Avernus to do a favor for you. That maybe doesn't directly conflict with the Angel's orders, but isn't exactly in service to them. You're going to need several more soul coins.
Like 7?
Perhaps. A little tip. Devils tend to like the number 6. If you're charged 7, you might be overpaying.
Thanks, Chad. Okay, so maybe what we'll do is.
And it's 300 gold to buy one.
So what we'll do.
But they get cheaper. It's 500 gold to buy one.
And then 50 gold discount.
For 10.
What I had
Down
is
to a total of 250.
yeah,
The
500
lowest you can
first
get is
one.
250 gold pieces.
And everyone after that is 50 gold less until you hit 250, and then it's flat.
So I think if we want to look into these soul coins, we buy the papers, we do some we do whatever shopping and other purpose we need, and then we can come back with remaining gold. And
Well, I don't know.
Do we need to go shopping?
I mean,
What
yeah,
do we
we've
need to buy?
shopped.
I still want to get the belt.
I don't think
We
can afford
don't. We
the belt.
can't afford the belt.
I want to talk to Seal about the belt.
We talked to Seal about the belt.
We have barely just enough. I
Can you
think.
buy soul coins
We have
anywhere
barely-
else?
We have barely
besides here?
enough like total in the world, but we also have to pay this navigator. We have to
Yeah,
buy the
that's
soul
fine,
coins. We have
yeah.
to buy. These
I mean,
papers.
are they like a negotiable? Can you buy them on the black market, or is this the only place? Or
All fiends down in the hells will trade in soul coins. Well, I should say all, depending on circumstances. Some may not accept your soul coins, but the majority of fiends in the hells will not accept gold as a currency. So, if you want to use currency at all, soul coins are the way to go. That is to say, there are other places where you might be able to trade in treasure or gold for coins, but I tell you, the Sigil branch of this travel agency is the greatest bargain you are going to get.
okay,
We pride ourselves on serving our customers with a smile. And he just gives a fiendish smile that is more off-putting than assuring.
So how many should we get?
I was gonna suggest 6 per person.
That sounds like a good deal to me.
That seem reasonable to you?
I was
That
just
would be
saying
enough
that
for 4
if we
favors.
run out, is there a way to get more after we leave here? Was what I was getting after.
I think 6 per person is a good deal.
Is that so? We're only buying
We'd be buying
21 then.
yes, because we get.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
How much is that going to be?
I have no idea. That's like this weird descending
Weird
math.
math,
that
yeah.
I'm gonna let Ethan handle.
Yep, we'll work it
Come
out.
on, DM.
Yeah, I mean I can do it real quick if you want.
I'll leave it to you, Zach.
What was the depreciation value?
50
Started at
gold less.
after
Starts at 500, goes down 50 every time until you.
until he hit 250.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 2 minutes real quick.
Okay.
But I would like to do that. I still want to talk to Seal first, and then we can come back and do that.
Sure.
Because this price isn't changing, and I want to see if I can negotiate something.
Meanwhile, the group of you, Kret is able to take care of the passports, since you have the money to pay that up front. And Kret, basically one by one, asks to see your hands, like the palm of your hand, and takes a needle and pokes into your hand and basically draws an arcane sigil with like needle pokes, which he then asks you to like press on a piece of paper, and then once you've pressed it on the paper, the blood pricks all heal, and there's sort of a flash of light around your wrist in a red color, and then you have to repeat that 2 other times with different arcane sigils and different pieces of paper. The second time, the light that flashes around your wrist is sort of a blue color, and the third time, the light that flashes around your wrist is sort of a like sickly greenish color.
6,000.
And this process repeats for each of you, and when Kret is done, he says, right, well, if you go see my associate Tret, he can get you your 3 complimentary soul coins, and after that you can go about your way or come back if you wish to redeem more currency for soul coins.
It's 6,000 gold for 21 soul coins.
I have a question about that.
Mhm.
Do we get 2 complimentary soul coins with that since we're spending 6,000 gold?
No, the complimentary soul coins apply
Okay,
to
okay.
the
Non-soul coin transactions.
So do we actually get physical paper, or is the
There is
paper
a physical
inside our-
paper involved,
But they'll
since
be
you have to
paper.
like stamp your hand on a piece of paper.
But we don't have to take anything with us.
Nope.
It's just in our
Mm-hmm.
hand.
And Kret says that if you are confronted, present your wrist and let the devil know that you have permission to travel the layer, and they should be able to check.
Devil's in the details.
Okay.
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 Makes sense to me.
Tret, then you're passed over to Tret, and Tret goes into the back room where you can see there's another figure in the back room. You don't catch a great glimpse of them, but they're a larger figure, bigger than an imp, and they seem to be a bit like working at a desk back there. The imp closes that door, is out of sight for a little while, and then returns carrying 3 thick, hefty coins that are maybe like this big around. They're quite large, and they're a couple centimeters thick, so they're quite thick, and they look like they're made of a heavy, like steel or something like that, a dark steel, and they have these infernal designs on them, just that indicate like flames and skulls and violence and torture in general.
Great.
And Tret basically has them on a tray and offers the tray to you. There's like 3 of them laying next to each other, so whoever wants to take them can take them.
Bag of holding.
Sure.
Zant, when you go to pick them up to put them in the bag of holding, you feel an intense weight, like a. The coin feels heavy in your hand, but it's not just that. It weighs on you.
Because they're soul coins.
You feel. I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of like.
The Shadowfell feeling?
It's like, to give you a movie reference for it, it's like when Frodo is carrying the ring.
Mm.
You know,
Oh,
there's
okay.
like a spiritual weight to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, everyone. That click
Yeah,
for
yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Got it.
And each one you take in your hand increases that weight until it is oppressive. What is your Constitution modifier?
I was thinking about Harry
It's not
Potter
very high.
too.
It's 14.
Yeah.
And the
plus-
lock-
plus
Yeah,
2.
the hop-
Plus 2?
Horcrux.
After you pick up the second coin, it is unbearable. You cannot pick up another one of these coins.
And hold 2 at the same time.
Yeah.
So can I like do one in the bag?
Sliding it into the bag, the
Yeah.
weight does not go away.
Mm.
God.
So
We might not be able to buy it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but man.
What? Oh man, we don't have very much shared constitution.
I've got the same as you, 14.
Mine's
Yeah.
14 as well.
Oh, my
Also-
Constitution.
So there's still 1 soul coin sitting. on the-
Biako
on the
can
tray.
carry some.
Well, I was
No,
thinking
there's quite a few sitting.
You can't mage
I
hand
can
it.
mage hand
If
it,
we-
but I think that because it's a soul, it's still going
Huh.
to weigh on me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
probably. I mean, you can try it right now and see if you want.
But then I'm stuck with it.
And so I'm gonna ask, who is Tret that brought him up? Tret, how does someone normally handle these? I can't seem to will myself
Yes.
to carry them.
That can sometimes happen with mortal creatures. Oddly enough, it doesn't happen for certain ones.
I'm gonna try mage handing and picking one up when he says that.
The mage hand grasps it, but can't lift it off.
Oh, it's too heavy.
Can I use telekinesis?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. You grab at it with magical force, and it will not budge.
These are stupid.
And I'm gonna just hand one to Harmony. You try and.
I'll just take the one off of the tray.
Okay. You pick it up. It's heavy, but it's not.
Well, I
And
guess I'm.
you feel that same sort of spiritual weight on you. But also, Harmony, as you are holding the coin and sort of examining it, you just sort of hear a little bit of a whisper. Off
Like we're on Mars ship.
Does it sound like a night hag's voice?
Yeah, that's how on your ship.
But I know.
No. Make a perception check.
Okay.
I was thinking of the ship that was kind of alive.
Yeah.
Curse.
That's the
Ooh,
Dragon Kiss.
nice.
19.
Yeah, Dragon Kiss has a bunch of whispering ghosts now.
The voice that you hear, it's faint, it's whispered. It doesn't sound like necessarily specifically an old woman's voice or anything like that. So you wouldn't identify it with a hag per se.
I meant a specific night hag that we know.
Oh, no, it doesn't sound like that. But you make out, it says the words, "Who's there? Who's there?"
My name's Harmony. I'm like talking to the coin. Hi.
Okay.
What's going on?
Has this happened to Tread?
Tret says, yes. These souls, the coins do in fact contain souls of creatures, so there is a bit of possible communication.
What kind of creatures do these
How did
normally
you die?
are normally imprisoned in these things?
The
Well,
kind
we
of
lost
creatures whose
Harmony.
souls end up in the 9 hells.
I see. Well, Army,
I'll take them.
point at the stack. Yeah, they're all yours.
I thought you still had 2.
Oh, I put it back down.
I picked them all up.
You take all 3, and you've got a Constitution modifier.
+2.
You can only carry 2.
Oh, I thought she was. Oh, okay. I got the impression
before
that she was okay.
the oppressive weight is too much for you, and you
Oh,
you
crap.
go to pick up a third, and it is too physically heavy. You can't
Wow.
pick it up.
Alright, well,
That's
I can
different.
only carry 2 as well, so it looks like we're only gonna have 2 apiece.
Okay.
I guess
Or maybe
so.
we just get 6 total and then call it good.
Might be.
Because we can always get more while we're there.
We have enough for
So
one
We
favor.
buy 3 more.
Wait, can you buy them in the hells?
That's what I was just asking.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
said we can get more while we're there.
Oh, how
The,
much?
the exchange rate is not going to be as good as it is here, though.
Yeah.
And you'll have to find someone who's willing to trade gold, which is rarer.
Okay.
Well, we don't even know if we need to. do that.
Tret says, if you're going into the hells and you're looking to replenish your supply of gold, or not of gold, of soul coins, seek out those in the service of the Lord Mammon. He tends to be the one who, well, his agents are the ones who deal with the finances of the hells.
I'm not sure we
Is
have.
that the one that's Cial?
Lord who?
Mammon?
Oh no, Cial is Mahati.
Oh, yeah. Different guy.
Though Mammon would ring a bell for you, Harmony, based on the lore you got from Moloch. Mammon is the archdevil responsible for, I believe, the 3rd layer of the 9 hells.
Which we found papers for.
Minaros, I think.
This is getting more complicated.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We're wasting time. Let's just buy 3 more right now, and then we'll have 6 just in case we need a favor. And we'll go to Cial's shop, and then we can go meet the navigator person, and we'll just go. We need to go.
I agree. Yeah, Thaddeus reached out to take 2. Well, I mean, we paid for 2, and Thaddeus will take 2.
We paid for 3 more?
Yeah.
So we want 6 total?
You can.
Or, sorry, 8 total?
6 total. We have 3. We'll pay for 3 more.
Yeah.
We only want 3 more? Okay.
Yeah.
I want at least 1 on each person.
1 on
No.
each person.
Okay.
Mara, what's your constitution modifier?
Plus 2.
We all
Well,
have
we all
14.
plus
It's
2.
Alright.
weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is weird. Yeah, so all of you can carry 2.
But
But
we're only
we're
getting
but
6.
only
So
buying 6.
I'll carry 2 because
Alright.
I just picked up 2.
Yeah.
You'll
So
carry
that
2 because
is
you just picked up 2, and then you guys can have 1 each.
13.50.
Thaddeus in particular,
Yeah,
since you
kinda-
have the strongest moral compass of the group, there's no minus or any, there's no penalty or anything like that, but you feel it the strongest, this weight that you are carrying another creature's soul, but not only that the soul you are carrying and in proximity with is one of great evil.
Yeah. That's what I think. Like
That would make you feel better.
I thought about this a lot about whether Thaddeus would be comfortable using soy coins at all, and I think that is his stance. It's like these people got what they deserve.
And Tret, since you're buying so many, you gather that that's a significant amount.
3.
Okay.
Okay.
will tell you a little bit of information about soul coins. In addition to using them as currency, some devils will use them in a number of ways. You can, while holding a soul coin, siphon life force out of it and into yourself, should you wish to.
Wow.
You can speak with the soul that is within the coin and ask it questions if you need to. And he mentions that they have other uses, particularly in Avernus, amongst the devils that dwell there and form war bands in the Blood War. But doesn't sort of elaborate on what those are.
Interesting. That's really cruel.
I mean, we need it more than they do.
When this conversation is going
Does it
on,
work both
from
ways?
any coins that are nearby, you just hear
not.
whispers.
When we're sleeping, can they siphon the life
No,
force
I don't think
out?
so. I'm guessing they're trapped.
Chaotic
completely.
neutral.
Yeah, I don't know if that is moral compass is necessarily stronger than Xanth's.
I mean, I'm pretty neutral.
Yeah, what is your alignment?
I think I'm neutral. I don't have it written here. I can add it on my other
Neutral,
sheet.
neutral.
Neutral good.
Well, I didn't update it.
At one point, you said that Hunter was a good character.
Yes. Yeah,
So he's neutral good?
yeah, I think it was, I'm looking right now, see if I have it on here. You're right though. At some point he was good. And he
And
still
that
is
may
good.
have shifted.
So it might be
Along with
neutral
the
good. I remember that when he was having like an identity crisis between robot and human, that I was like, I didn't know. I'm like, I don't know what he is yet.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm like, I wasn't sure. But I think neutral good is what I had written down on my other sheet that
That's what Fatty is.
I didn't.
That is also neutral good.
Yeah, okay.
Chaotic neutral. Am I the only one that's not a good alignment?
I'm kind of curious this way.
Yeah, what is Mara?
What's your Mars
Chaotic
alignment?
evil.
I put chaotic neutral.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. No wonder y'all two like
Yeah.
BFFs.
We're like always causing mischief.
Yeah, that's why we're like on the same page and you guys are on the same page.
Yep.
Good balance. Okay.
Anyway, alright, off to Ciel's shop.
Okay.
Onwards.
At Ciel's shop, you rendezvous with Ciel, and they today, I think, are wearing, probably, since they're in a very good mood with the group of you around,
Their favorite color.
bright, I think, lime green robes with silver linings and silver jewelry, bright lime green eyes, long hair, probably that goes like almost down to the ankles today, with again the fringe is that lime green color.
So fashionable.
Right.
And they're in the middle of dealing with a
That's the
customer,
best
and when the
part
group
of my
of you
day.
come in, they turn to the customer and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to close up the shop for the day. Come back tomorrow and we'll conclude this deal." And the customer just kind of is like, "What?" And he's ushered out by the fox creatures.
Wow, that's service.
And Ciel comes forward to greet the group of you and says,
Thanks, y'all.
"All right, so are we ready to go to the lower ward and meet your navigator?"
Yes.
I still want to talk about that belt real quick.
Of course, yes.
Arr, dog with a bone.
This is the deal that never
We don't.
I know, right?
We don't have to roleplay it. Do you have 125,000 gold?
So, we don't. We don't have enough for everything.
Basically, you can talk to Ciel about it, but they're not willing to lower
Can they-
it
they
because
don't
they
wanna
have
loan either?
buyers who are willing to pay that right now.
Alright. Well, that's upsetting.
Sorry, Zach.
Okay. Well, I mean, is there something else we can buy then? But
We did the shopping episode.
yeah, I know. But
We
now,
did.
but we didn't have enough money, and now we have a lot more money. We
Other
can do it
than-
offline if you want, Ethan. I can, if you want to give me like a list, we could do that.
Yeah, I'll give you a list
Alright, I'm
of
gonna
a
do
few
that.
things
Sure.
that Ciel has you might be able to buy.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, let's go to the Ugalop then.
I mean, I'm more than happy to get into it, but it
Unless-
seems like the group of
The
you.
only other, yeah,
We need to get things moving. How many
That's fine.
episodes have we spent on this crap?
one.
No, on
Like, yeah.
we're so
I
close to
feel
the
like
hell.
the
This
epilogue
is
is
so
in
close
hell,
to the hell.
and we're not there yet.
This is Dungeons and Dragons.
That's fine. No, we can go. We can
Like,
go. We'll
I
talk
thought we were
about
going
it.
to go to the hells in the first episode.
Yeah, I know. And then
Before
we
we
had to
started
talk
the
about
epilogue.
the show.
I told you that wasn't gonna happen.
No. I mean, like, when we started talking about having an epilogue, like,
Sure.
I was like,
You just
okay, we'll
drop
start
in
just
there.
going straight to the hells the first
Yeah. Alright.
episode. So,
Okay.
Well, we like to be
So I'm
overly
done.
prepared.
let's
Super.
go.
Yeah,
Let's
we can go.
go.
We can go.
I'm so
I
excited.
had a lot of plot points to tie up. Cial guides you out of the shop into the market ward, through the ladies' ward, which actually, like, when you try and enter the ladies' ward, it wasn't a problem leaving it, but when you try and enter, the group of you get some looks from some Harmonium soldiers. But Cial basically hands a pouch of coin over to one of them, and they kind of, like, you know, wave it off as the group of you go in.
What's that about?
Insight check.
Yeah, what was that about? I think I'll just go ahead and ask
Yeah.
y'all.
Oh, well, the Harmonium, they're a little bit particular about, you know, who gets to freely cross through the ladies' ward. They have a vibe they're trying to preserve here. And some of you, though it's nothing against the group of you, may not fit that vibe. So they just, a little bit of money and they'll let anyone go through, but we just gotta be quick about it, you know? So chop chop,
Not me.
and Cial quickens pace.
But not ladies.
I am the picture of the perfect lady. And I, like, walk through the ward like channeling
you know.
Astrid.
Cial kind of like
On
leans
my
down.
tiptoes as if I'm wearing high heels.
Cial leans down towards you and says, "The name of the ward has nothing to do with its residents, actually."
Oh.
You remember I mentioned a being that sort of governs the entire city last time you were here?
Yes.
The Lady of Pain.
And Cial kind of like gives you a look like, not so loud.
Oh.
People don't talk about her quite so freely when we're out in the open, but yes. She doesn't even necessarily reside here. It's just because I think it's the nicest ward, and so it's a little bit of homage and respect. But honestly, it's just a name. But it has nothing to do with the residents who live here. It's not like you're... Anyways, let's get out. And Cial hurries you across this section of the city and into the next section of the city, which is a stark contrast to the clean streets of the ladies' ward. In that there's a sort of smog that seems to hang perpetually in the air, and that smog smells of sulfur and soot. And you've clearly crossed into what is known as the lower ward, and the buildings also get darker, and many of them are you can see like blacksmiths and forges and things like that, and all of them seem to be stained by a constant layer of this soot from running these smithies. And you can just, the entire area rings with the sound of like hammers hitting anvils and things like that. And Cial ushers you forward until you come to a unassuming building with that has like, it has windows, but when you look into the windows, it is dark in there with like little candle lights, so like you can barely see anything in there. And hanging above the door of this ramshackle building is a sign that says "The Styx Oarsman." And Cial says, "This is where the Morenoloths like to hang out. In fact, many patrons native to the Hells like to hang out here. Careful who you make eye contact with." And Cial enters, and then sort of without making eye contact with anyone, makes their way to a corner table where you can see there's a lone figure seated.
I'm looking at everything.
You're looking at everything. Roll a perception check.
Oh, that's really good. 21.
21. You see in here all manner of fiends. You see devils and demons keeping to themselves, but sort of giving each other glares and things like that, as if they wish they could be fighting. Behind the bar, sort of eyeing the groups of devils and demons and making sure that they behave themselves, is a... Let's see. I have a note on the bartender here.
Rick.
Sort of an emaciated and very heavily scarred, green-skinned, pointy-eared figure, but one of the ears is like chipped, like a huge chip in the right ear. They have a bald head, and their eyes are like glaring at most of their patrons. It's not like a friendly situation at all. They are keeping watch on everyone in here.
What race are they?
I don't know if you've encountered any of this race before, but you've seen them around Sigil. They almost look like sort of like weird, bald, green-skinned elves, but not really.
That's helpful.
In the dark room,
Things are developing.
you can sort of hear the whispers of hushed conversations at each of the individual tables, but all of them are trying to keep their conversations low so no one else can hear. The creatures in the room that draw your attention the most, though, and it's not even like you sense them with your physical senses, it's as if there is some sort of like arcane connection deep within your soul that resonates with a creature that you see. There is a like a charcoal black-skinned tiefling sitting in a corner booth, huddled with a pair of other tieflings that sort of have their backs to you so you can't see the colors of their skins. And they are in the middle of a low conversation, and they have 2 or 3 imps that are sort of perched around the table with them. The 2 that have their backs to you with their cloaks up, you can see are heavily armed with wicked-looking infernal weaponry, like swords and maces and things like that. The one who is sitting facing the room, the charcoal-skinned one, is wearing much more like loose robes. But you can see that he, too, like the bartender, is heavily scarred. There are, like, every inch of his flesh seems to have, like, a thin white scar on it. And you feel this sort of intense connection between the two of you. And in fact, as you enter the room, the figure kind of looks around the room, and just leans in closer to the other tieflings. But you are being ushered to a table opposite.
Do I recognize him?
No. It's no one you've seen before.
Didn't know there were other tieflings in the world. This is exciting.
And in fact, other than Radiance, it is the only other tiefling the group of you have seen. But you are ushered to a
Even in
table.
Sickle? There's no other tieflings on the streets and stuff like that?
Well,
Not like
my
Harmony,
mother,
no.
they also
Yeah,
thought.
also. It's true.
But
Not
yeah.
really.
Okay.
Not really.
Weird.
Sigil has a lot of planar tieflings which don't look like Harmony much.
Oh, okay. I see.
And I can't strain my ears to hear anything of what they're saying.
What was your perception check?
21.
When you come in, there was the whisper that you hear as your attention is drawn to this figure is something like, he was speaking in a very deep and gravelly voice, and saying something like, the situation's getting really dire. The general won't like it if he pushes any further. We need to get the weapons and return to Avernus, or things will transpire that Our Lady will not like. And then when the tiefling basically looks up after that and sort of looks around the room, and that's when they go into more of a hushed conversation. And you were guided to a table sort of in a separate corner, out of view of those tieflings, where sitting at the table is a figure that basically looks like almost like a skeleton, but there is skin there. It's just stretched very tight over the skin, and it's very pale and sickly looking. But sort of blazing in the eye sockets are these glowing green eyes, and they're wearing sort of a leather outfit that looks almost horrifyingly like the skin of some sort of creature, that culminates in a cloak which has a hood that is currently flipped up over the bare skull head, and the hood has a pair of sewn on like fabric horns.
Okay.
Sort of like a devil or tiefling kigu, almost. And the figure, once the group of you sit down with Ciel, turns to Ciel and says, "Well, this is the group you mentioned. This is who I'm taking down the river Styx." And when Ciel gives a nod, Ciel turns to you and says, "Friends, this is Orgrix. Orgrix, friends." And Orgrix says to you, "All right, that's it. Good to know. You're paid in advance, so I'm set to go whenever you are. When are we leaving?"
Now?
Where's the portal? Have we got a key?
If we're going straight to the Styx, there's a portal in this very tavern. It's one of the reasons that many fiends
Did we
gather
bring
here.
our ship with us though? We came here through the Drowning Kiss though.
You didn't bring your ship with you?
So we'll have to go back through the door we came to get the Drowning Kiss.
Oh, that's true.
And then we can hop planes.
Yeah. You'll have to come with us then.
Right, that's fine. Don't tell me where we're going. I don't want to know.
But aren't you our navigator?
Right, once we get on the river, I'll want to know. But until we're on the river, I don't want to know where we are, what we're doing, who you are. I don't want to know names. I don't want to know anything about you.
But you're fascinating. I want to hear your life story.
Too bad. You're not getting it.
Can I insight check him?
Yeah, roll an insight check.
I'd like to do that too.
What do you want to know?
Oh my god. Copycat.
I was thinking about doing these first.
You're gonna do better than me again.
20.
20.
Mine's only an 8, so.
What is it that you want to know, Zant?
Two things. One is there actually horns that are filling that hood?
That's
No,
more of
there
a
are not.
perception.
Yeah.
thing, isn't
I
it?
know, that was kind of a joke. I want to know why they're so. I want to gather why they're so like reserved or.
I don't think you could identify a root cause, but what you would realize immediately is that like this is an extremely cautious creature,
Okay.
and the
Or if they really.
desire to not want to know anything
Yeah.
about you is genuine.
Okay, they really don't want to know anything about us. Okay.
Alright.
Then
Well,
I'll just like turn around like, no, we don't bother the navigator.
He'll learn to love us like they all do. We'll get him in the end.
We'll see, but
You know my name, and that's more than you should already know. So
Do you think the doorway to the Drowning Kiss is still in the sewer? Or do you think it would have moved by now?
we can go back to that place and ask, right? We went to a
There's like a
what's that?
registry
The
or something?
records
Yeah.
something.
But it was stricken from the record before. Do you think it's back on the record now?
I would guess it was stricken from the record by the Bureau.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty dang sure about that.
But
too,
would
yeah.
they have put it back on?
Certainly.
Yeah, because you weren't earlier.
Wow. Still on that, are we?
Ordrix is sort of looking at the group of you.
Mhm.
I heard a name of a thing, the Drowning Kiss. I said I didn't want to know anything, but here we are. What's the name of the
We're
ship?
not-
All right, fine. I know the name of the ship.
We're not telling
Let's
you
go.
these things. You're picking them up through conversation. So if you don't want to know, plug your ears.
They pull back the hood, and you can see that it is like a skull. There are no ears there.
There's no sockets either. Like there's
Nope. No, it's just like skin stretched over
no.
that.
Like, how do
hood.
they hear?
I'm a magical creature. Can't help it.
You're
Let's just go.
something all right.
Well, then you're in trouble for some information. Let's go.
Well, we're going to try it anyway. Then we'll figure out something else if we have to.
We can
Well,
either go
look
to the
at
records
CL.
place, or we can go straight to
Do
the.
we know? Did we go to the records place before? I don't have
Yeah, we went there
Yeah,
once,
you did
and
go
we
there
had to
last
pay.
Mhm.
We had to pay like a small amount of gold
to
and
figure out where the
Mhm.
thing is, and we still have the key.
CL says, look, if it was stricken by the Bureau, let's say, it's unlikely they've gone to the trouble to put it back in the records. But these portals can stick around for as long as months, or they can stick around for as short as seconds. So I think the best thing to do would just be
to go there.
go find out.
Sure, we can do that.
Well, the problem is.
Oh wait. Oh wait. Why didn't we just walk
we
out
didn't
of the
just
sewers?
walk out of the sewers.
Crap.
So
That's
we
a
don't really
problem.
know which
No,
ward
we-
it's in.
Oh, did you
Teleported
teleport
out.
all of us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course I did. That's why I
Just
was
walk
like, I did it
out.
before
You
anyone
should've
has a
just
chance to
walked
say
out.
anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I wanted to save us the trouble of wandering around being lost,
Oh,
and then we
okay.
ended up
and now
wandering
we're
around
wandering
being
around.
lost.
Okay.
Yeah, now we're in a pickle.
Ah, Pinky will get us there.
That's
That's
possibly
actually a
true.
really
That is
good point.
possibly
Yeah.
true. Alright, thank you.
Follow the rats.
We're counting on
we
you.
following the rats.
All right. The group of you
This is
with
weird.
Orgrix in tow
Bye,
find
CL.
your way to a entrance to the sewers, which are common and frequent in the lower ward. The sewers here seem extra foul, however. And
What you
set,
do?
you set Pinky down into the sewers, and then what do you do?
Tell him to find where we came in.
I can't believe this is our best plan.
This is
You know, it's come full
we're
circle.
4 level 18 adventurers.
Follow the rats.
We are clueless after all.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this roll.
Worst case is you and I can give it a shot too. Try and
Survival
find
check
our
it
way.
out.
Yeah.
We can.
Dun, 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 dun.
The group of you, as you, actually just specifically Harmony, as you leave the establishment, you notice that the group of tieflings have got up and are no longer there.
Okay.
I'm going to make a survival check for Pinky. Here we go.
Oh, just straight survival. Oh, okay.
You have the thing? The like bend left thing?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Survival's a wisdom.
Yes.
You begin to make your way through the sewers, and Pinky is sort of in telepathic connection with you, but not really communicating because the swarm is focusing on like finding their way forward.
So, one quick question. So I thought I was under the impression that Pinky was just gonna go and then come back. Are we following?
No, we're
Yes,
following
we're
the
following.
rats.
So if we're also in there, can we roll our own survival checks to kind of
Sure,
cross
yeah.
check? Okay. Yeah, I would have done that before.
Well, yeah. Who
I
has
see
it?
what
I will help you.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
That is pretty dang good. That's a 27.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what tips you off, per se, but it becomes very apparent very quickly to you that Pinky doesn't know where it is going, and is leading you in the wrong direction. And you
Was
quickly
Pinky telling Mara that? And Mara was not telling us that?
no. Pinky
Okay.
was like Pinky was in telepathic connection, but like wasn't communicating. They were just like focused on.
Okay,
task.
so I'll tell Mara, hey, we're supposed to go this way.
Pinky, man, what's up?
The navigator who's with you says, "Great, now I know the rat's name is Pinky." Wonderful.
Sorry, Orgrix. I like this navigator though. It's funny.
Quickly you course correct, and within maybe a couple hours of traveling through the sewers of Sigil, you find yourself in the chamber with the lights still set up. One of them kicked over where Harmony left it.
Oh, great. Okay, perfect.
And the pipe, you can see the pipe high up in the ceiling that you sort of fell out of. It's easy enough for the group of you to hoist your way up there, and with the mermaid scale in hand, you make your way back to Elendil with ease. And I think we will pick up next week with the first steps into the Hells. Is that a good place to leave off?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You tumble out of the kitchen onto the boat, and Orgrix stands up, like brushes off the skin coat that they're wearing, and looks around and says, "Oh yeah, this'll do. This'll do just fine."
I thought he was.
That's where we'll end.
I was gonna say the bird says, "Uh-oh."
Great. Now I know the bird's name is Otto.
So thank you to anyone who tuned in to watch. Thank you guys for playing.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll get into some fun hellish adventures starting next week.
Finally.
Took a while. We got here.
And the episode will be 126.
Devils like their sixes.
There we go.
So thank you for watching. Hope you have a good night. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.